Hi everyone, I'm Marie Hankins, and I'm going to be talking about the National Institute of Mental Health. It is located in Rockville, Maryland. That's where you can find the director's office, who is Joshua A. Gordon. And Bethesda, Maryland is where you can find the research facilities associated with NIMH. So the NIMH was originally created in 1946 when President Truman, who you can find on the top right of this slide, created the National Mental Health Act. And it finally established the National Institute of Mental Health. However, it was originally funded by private agencies such as the Green Tree Community Health Foundation. In 1963, President Kennedy wrote the first letter to Congress about mental health care in the United States. They were so moved by his letter and his drive to better mental health care that they came up with the act, Mental Retardation Facilities and Community Mental Health Centers Act. And finally, the federal government started providing funds for the National Institute of Mental Health, allowing them to do more research studies and come up with better treatments for mental illness. The NIMH vision, mission, and goals. The vision is a world in which mental illnesses are prevented and cured. And the mission of the National Institute of Mental Health is to transform the understanding and treatment of mental illness through basic and clinical research, paving the way for prevention, recovery, and cure. They have four main goals that they like to follow. They wish to advance basic science of the brain, genomics, and behavior to understand mental illness. The second goal is to chart mental illness trajectories to determine when, where, and how to intervene. The third goal is to highlight efforts to improve preventative and therapeutic interventions. The fourth goal is to bring knowledge to practice, improvements in services, and better outcomes to individuals. Benefits and services for those eligible. So to be eligible for the benefits of the NIMH, you most likely have to be a predoctoral or postdoctoral candidate interested in research opportunities associated with the NIMH. Now, if you wish to do research for the NIMH, they will offer up to $50,000 in loans in order to help pay for the education costs for postdoctoral candidates. They also have research opportunities, which allow for training and job search programs. And these training and job search programs will include costs covering stipends, tuition and fees of schools, and even health insurance. Science and social issues that the NIMH addresses. They wish to end discrimination against mental illness. And they wish to end this by providing more information to people to give them a better understanding of mental illness. So hopefully they can get rid of the stigma once and for all. The main clients served by the NIMH would be postdoctoral and predoctoral candidates because that's where most of their funding goes to in order to fund for research and the people conducting the research. And ultimately, their goals are to provide better treatment and resources for those in need of help. Now, there are several patients helped by the NIMH as well, and there are articles written about CSC, which is Coordinated Specialty Care. Um, they've used CSC for people with substance use disorders. However, CSC did not seem to affect people with substance use disorders. It did not help decrease substance use, but it did help increase their social interactions with each other. They also use CSC on early psychosis patients. And if you don't know what psychosis is, it is basically characterized by losing contact with reality and often shown through hallucinations and illusions. Psychosis is also often a symptom of schizophrenia, and schizophrenia is the mind deteriorating to a level that people can't function with during everyday life. And so CSC used on early psychosis patients was very beneficial. Through the use of CSC during the first 6 months, employment rates increased by 40 to 80% with patients with psychosis. and hospitalization rates decreased from 70% to 10% in the first 3 months of treatment. There was also studies done on schizophrenia disorder spectrum. They noticed impairments in motivation and psychosocial function. It's very common with people in schizophrenia, and they concluded that motivation is very important for recovery and treatment of schizophrenia, and this can pave way to new and better treatments and more accurate treatments as well. And then more articles. RAISE is a project developed by the National Institute of Mental Health, also known as the Recovery After an Initial Schizophrenia Episode. Does it help or not? There is an article about the original development of RAISE, that there's still challenges associated with it. They're not sure how much it will help people, but the fact that it was created means that doctors can contribute to it. They can continue studying over the years and hopefully provide new and better information through research. And actually, a year later, another article was written about the effects that RAISE has on autonomy. And autonomy is essentially the extent to which individuals feel empowered and supported to make informed choices. Now, through this study, they did conclude that over a 2 year period, the RAISE program helped support autonomy in people with schizophrenia, and they had a more perceived autonomy for themselves. Another RAISE program is the RAISE Connection program for family involvement. And in another study, doctors and researchers concluded that encouraging family involvement made it more common for family to be involved when a family member has schizophrenia and is being treated for it, which is very important to know because having people there while you're being treated can definitely help with the recovery process. Flaws in the system. Now, there are some gaps, such as where the money goes, how the money is used. So the money mainly goes to the doctors and scientists involved in research, which is good. However, the money could also be used to fund for rehab facilities and inpatient clinics for people with mental illness, especially after learning that so many people go to jail just for having a mental illness or a substance use disorder. Providing funds to these facilities could decrease the level of the number of people who go to prison for this. And there's also a lack of connection to the Mental Health Society on the NIMH website. Though they do research, there aren't really any pictures of them interacting with people with mental illness. I think that that could be very beneficial, and I think that it's a gap because though they say they want to destigmatize this, they are doing a very good job of showing that it's okay to interact with people with mental illness. Also, working with people with mental illness can be very hard on the mental health of the doctors involved, and this isn't addressed enough in the NIMH. How do we know that the NIMH is helping Americans? So they do have articles written about depression and the effect of new treatments, and predoctoral candidates actually developed an algorithm based off of 25 variables that are the best for depression, for the treatment of depression, to decrease symptoms and increase mood. And through this algorithm, they developed a model, and they used this model and concluded that it was 59.6% accurate in one treatment group to improve mood, and 59.7% accurate in another treatment group. There's also a lot of information on the website about different mental illnesses like anxiety disorders, panic attack disorders, depression, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia, dementia, even autism as well, so that people can have a better understanding of mental illness and hopefully end the stereotype. I learned a lot from this research. It's very memorable for me because mental health is very important to me. I do like that the NIMH is research oriented. I think that this research is the only way we can get better treatments for people suffering from mental illness and substance use disorders. But like I said, what they could also provide funds to rehab facilities or make other institutions to keep people with mental illness in so they can recover instead of going to prison. But like I said, the benefits of research are very important, and I agree with the funding that they have for doctors because it is an incentive for doctors to help with this research and pave the way for better treatments. And since May is National Mental Health Awareness Month, I included a little test down here to test your knowledge on mental health. It's only like 10 questions long. So if you want to do it, go ahead. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day.